Marriage Story is a 2019 Netflix drama directed by Noah Baumbach starring Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, Laura Dern and Ray Liotta. In something of an update of Kramer vs. Kramer, or Kramer vs. Kramer, or however it's pronounced, the film follows a married couple who have a son that begin divorce proceedings after the wife decides she no longer wants to be with her husband as a result of his apparent controlling behavior, resulting in her lack of freedom to express herself, but also the fact that he has cheated on her. The two remain on good terms. They try to be as civil as possible and even promise not to use lawyers, but eventually the wife does, and she uses a top-tier corporate-style lawyer that begins to rinse Adam Driver's character for what he's worth and minimize his potential exposure to his son and have him pay for the court proceedings. As a result, he also hires a sleazy-looking lawyer and what started off as a respectful parting erupts in a bitter exchange of smears as the two lawyers battle it out to twist the facts in their favour, using knowledge their clients have given them about their spouses, disintegrating the relationship between the husband and wife. I'm oversimplifying it and misselling it really, because the court battle isn't the main thing with the movie. It's really just a look at a couple going through a divorce. It's quite a simple movie, and all the baggage that divorce brings to everyone involved. It's one of those movies that is adept at having a real life feel. It does feel like the film is set in our real world, just little things that happen that feel spontaneous. I thought it was really funny. I laughed a few times. I also have to admit that my eyes did swell up on occasion. A couple of years ago, the movie might not have had as much of an impact as it did on me now, but since being married and becoming a father, many of the emotional beats do resonate, and I found it to be quite emotional and a very realistically handled telling of a compelling story. And yet there was some hilarious absurdist humour, like the "you're served" scene or Driver accidentally knifing himself. It's quite scary as well, just seeing these two relatively ordinary people having their lives spiral out of control, especially the father, for whom the divorce serving kinda came out of nowhere, and very quickly he's getting screwed by Johansson's lawyer. And then when he gets one of his own, in that first scene with the conniving Liotta in his office, it's clear Driver has no idea what is going on, no idea the amount of cost he's acquiring, simply being one of the pawns in this game of money-grabbing lawyers. And this case can be considered quite mild, to be honest, because both the husband and wife are pretty well off. They do live privileged lives. Imagine a working-class father going through what Driver did in this movie. The very best thing about the film, the centerpiece, is the acting. It is terrific, and the primary reason why I felt the movie had a real-life feel. The lawyers were great. The Oscar-winning Dern carried herself with such confidence and had the snobby refinery of an elitist lawyer. And behind her sympathetic agreeing with Johansson's woes, there was a predator, a vulture hiding beneath her eyes. Ray Liotta was in it a lot less, but he was a scene stealer as Driver's lawyer. Both were fascinating to watch as these reptilian and calculating spin doctors, creating and recreating the narrative as their clients' bills rise and rise. And Alda is also in a few scenes as a more tamer lawyer, for whom it seems these events which are tearing his client's life apart are a mildly amusing pastime. The stars of the show are of course Johansson and Driver themselves, who gave magnificent performances that felt very genuine and was the foundation of the film's brilliance. There were so many great money shots, for the lack of a better phrase, of the acting on display, from Johansson's monologue early on in the film, Driver's breakdown in front of his wife, and when he reads that statement that his wife wrote to his son. There's a narcissism to the main two characters also. It's not as if they're both two lovable, wronged people. They are both very self-absorbed in their own whims, which is the catalyst of the divorce in the first place, and it could be argued that the lawyer's shark-like behaviour is just an amplification of what was already simmering under the surface from the husband and wife. I thought Marriage Story was a really compelling picture, brilliantly written and expertly acted. I give it an 8 out of 10.